The Nigerian economy is about to collapse and the whole country has gone on strike, and Nigeria is no longer producing oil which they can sell. Now what's important is the context of this. These strikes are the people that work on oil refineries in Nigeria, and they've gone on strike and they're no longer refining oil. And oil makes up about 80% of what the government in Nigeria makes, meaning if these workers go on strike, then the Nigerian government will collapse. Now the reason for these strikes is actually quite interesting. Last week, the largest oil refinery in Nigeria fired over 800 of its workers, but the reason why might surprise you. Those over 800 workers in that company actually went on strike before these different new strikes today, but the reason they went on strike was because they were being treated unfairly and they wanted to be paid more for the work that they did. But rather than that oil refinery company listening to its workers and paying them more and paying them what they deserved, they actually decided to make an example of them to the other workers that didn't go on strike, and they fired the whole 800 of them that went on strike. Now, in response to that, the oil unions in Nigeria, that all of the oil refinery workers across the country work for, collectively came together and went on strike in support of these over 800 people that were fired simply for going on strike. And the goal of these strikes by these oil unions was just for these 800 people to get their job back, because they didn't deserve to lose their job just because they wanted more money. But with all of these oil refinery workers from across the country coming together and going on strike, it threatened the government collapsing because they'd lose out on all of the money they make from oil. And as I said, 80% of the government's income comes from oil, meaning if these workers stayed on strike forever, the Nigerian government would collapse. So they had to do something about it. But luckily today, after a week of drama and the government actually getting involved and having negotiations, they've managed to get all of those 800 workers their job back in the company that they were originally fired from. Now, we don't know at the moment, but we don't think they got the pay increase that they did originally go on strike for, but they have got their jobs back, thanks to this nationwide strike by the oil union workers. So the situation in Nigeria is over. The Nigerian government has mediated it and fixed the problem, but it's still worth knowing about, as this was a big deal in Nigeria, and it really could have changed the Nigerian economy. But as usual, you can leave me a follow for some more global news like this.